How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jaime Filer, and I am so excited and enthused to be joined by Jace Lopez of Apex Training and Leo King of King's Fitness as we talk about teams. How are you guys?
I'm very well. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year to you. Good. Question before we start. What has been the most useful thing you've learned so far this week?
You go first, Leo.
I think, God, that's a really tough question to start the year.
Here you go, right? Let's go.
I think taking a step back, looking at everything as a whole, and then setting goals, just goal setting this year. I think that's what this year, this month, and this week has all been all about. Is just let's set up the big picture for the year. I
love that. So obviously so useful. Jace, go ahead.
So I kind of go with goal setting is that, I always wait till like the beginning of the new year to set goals. I never do it like before. I always wait, all right, now we're new year, let's set goals here. Yeah. And it's important to set goals, but then set the habits that's going to make that goal get facilitated, because I can put, hey, I want to do this. But if I don't create the habits that's going to, get to that goal, then it's worthless there. It's just noise, right?
That's beautiful. I love it. And Jace, did you also learn that taking vacations with your family is fun and you should do more of it?
Yeah, it was fun. Another lesson is that you don't realize that you need a recharge until you're recharged. It's come back, you're excited, momentum, so, because we're so busy in the hustle and bustle and sprinting all the time, and when you actually slow down and take a breath, it's just really reviving.
I love it. Good. Well, again, you guys were chosen for a specific reason because each of you, obviously, in addition to being husbands and fathers, you really wear three different hats to your businesses. You are brick and mortar gym owners. You are in-person trainers and bosses. And then you also manage online teams as well, right? Jace, you have, is it one location for Apex?
That's right.
Okay. Leo, you have two for King's Fitness. Awesome. Great. So let's start with building a team. Let's start with Jace. How did you decide who to pick for your team, right? Step one, get people on the bus. Number two, assign them seats. How did you decide who was going to be on your bus?
So I've been owning a gym since 2016. So, that process definitely refined since then, but, I think the best way to get people on the team on board who are, ready to facilitate the core values, the goal, the mission of the company is to hire in-house, so most likely you have a few clients who love, they're really into training. They love what you do. They know the process. Say, all right, well, look, hey, what do you think about training? And that helps a lot because they come in, like I said, they know the process, they know what the goal is. So it helps to hire in-house. But number two, I would say the second best option would be to hire interns. So interns come out of college, they're very hungry to work. They work for free, and then whatever you pay them, they're happy, right? They're just excited to work. Compared to hiring somebody who's seasoned and is kind of set in their ways. So in the old days, like, oh, you train before, come here, do this, just do for us. When really, when you want to build a culture with a gym, you have to cultivate people from where they start, the foundation first. And it's always easier to train a new dog than train an old dog.
So, Jace, is that contractors or do you have employees?
Oh, we have contractors. So everybody's 1099.
Absolutely. So then are you paying them, they setting their own rates or are you paying them a commission?
So they go through our software, our mind body software, and we pay them a percent of what the total revenue is.
Did that answer your question, Leo?
Absolutely.
You froze up there. Yeah.
So many ways of doing it, right? Like, I mean, I have contractors and employees, and even my contractors are structured differently than your contractors, right? So it's just very interesting for anyone out there listening.
So Leo, you took over. It's fine. But no, we'll put a pin in the who, but let's pick the why. Jace, Leo, how come you guys decided to pick contractors, at least for your first brick and mortar? And then why did you decide on the pay structure that you did? Leo, we'll go to you first.
Honestly, it was just the simplest way of starting my business. So I was in 2015, I think I was 25, jumping in all into my own sort of space, right? And I just found it like I was learning so much to begin with, and then to add on, let's chuck employees into the mix and everything else. And honestly, it was just like pure convenience. And I wanted to find motivated small business owners, trainers, entrepreneurs who wanted to build their own business under our umbrella bands, right? And the reward for that is they get to set their own rates, and they get to charge, they know what the rates are for the gym, but they get to charge above and beyond what they want to charge. So again, back into the motivation, they want to work harder, bring in more clients, which then comes back into the gym side of things.
So with that massive advantage, Leo, why would you pick employees for your second location?
Because we did buy into an existing business, and it was the structure that's been going and working, and the culture and the community has been set there. And we had these big discussions with them as well. We were like, hey, which way do we want to go? And they liked the employee system, and they liked maybe more of the team aspect, and because it does lend to a different vibe.
For sure.
And they wanted to keep it that way, even if the rewards may have been a little better, maybe the other way, right? So.
And so, Jace, how did you decide on the structure of contract trainers versus employees and how to pay them?
So, I mean, it's literally the same exact story as Leo. We started 2016, and back then it was just this because of simplicity. Like, hey, look, you bring clients in, we'll give you clients, we'll give a % of that income, and that will be contracted from there. But I think as you go forward in business and you have more revenue, you actually want to go towards the employee system. Like Leo said, more the team building, more manageable, and of course, you can kind of set their hours based on the work there instead of have them create. What's really cool about contractors is like, a new wave of employees are entrepreneurs. They don't want the risk and the pay and all the other bills of owning a business, but they want the responsibility and that freedom. So having a contractor really is a blessing to have entrepreneurs, but you also have trainers or contractors who don't want to work as hard. They kind of want the time freedom more than they want the money. So it's like, it's kind of hard to push them to work harder there. While the employee, you set their hours and you give them set standards to accomplish.
The vibe I'm picking up as well is if you're going to essentially start franchising, employees are probably your best bet, so that you are managing communities of people rather than 150 individuals. Could that be said?
100% agree.
Okay. So Leo, regarding, obviously King's Fitness A and B, how did you pick the people I guess in the second scenario, because you bought in, you didn't really have a choice. Did you notice any problems at all with that?
I mean, you're going in, and because you're coming in from up here, they don't know who you are. They don't know your background. You have to almost show them what you're all about to get them to buy into, believe in you, right? As a person, as a business owner, as everything else. So I think that was probably the biggest challenge, I would say. But that's something that you just build relationships over time, right? And communication and such like that. So, and then also as well, like Jace was talking about entrepreneurs and stuff like that, is giving them the ability to be able to maybe build more programs within the system and stuff like that. So I found that very beneficial, again, specifically for location B.
Yeah. So autonomy is another key, right? Jace in terms of setting their rates, and Leo in terms of letting them program, right?
Yeah.
So regarding your online coaches, I mean, we've all been through TRM. We've all grown our online presence. There's no way a trainer could not see online as being lucrative. How do you make it so that your online teams stay with you and coach under your umbrellas rather than saying, well, if Jace could build a 6-figure business online, I could probably do it myself too.
I find the people who like in-person training, because they like the in-person training, they like being with their clients, they like speaking to them and stuff like that. So I usually find that a lot of our trainers will have a little bit of this hybrid approach where they're not ever getting rid of their in-person trainers, or often they're maybe bringing someone else to still train them, right? Like it's still for us as an overall session per session or per month basis, it's still fairly consistent and it's high and it's increasing, right? So I have found that people they like to be in person and they're going to stick with that.
Yeah. Okay. And then how do you do have online trainers though, right, Leo?
Not specifically. Again, all my contractors, they run their own businesses. So they're not under the umbrella. I don't have any under me. Yes.
Yeah.
Jace.
Okay.
Jace,
go ahead.
Yeah, so I have 2 online coaches right now, and I picked one because he's just a really good friend, a really smart guy out of Iowa. So he's actually in a remote location. My other was actually a trainer at my gym. He's a coach at my gym, So he was hungry. He's willing to learn. He's willing to be coachable. So I chose him to be my online coach. But I think so I have 8 trainers work under me at Apex at my gym, right? We'll have 2 online coaches. And why is that? Is because in person, they could take on maybe 20, 30 clients. Online, they can take as many as they want. As long as they can handle there. So I don't think your online company needs to be that big. And honestly, I think I see a lot of companies suffer with recycling through coaches because they get so big. And you have to think, what's the goal of online coaching? Like what's the goal with a big team? If you just have a few good people that you can trust and that are giving the high quality service and education you're providing, you're gonna achieve the goal because of course the impact can be larger. So I definitely say keep your online smaller and nurture them, of course, a little more, but hire them based on their passion. If they enjoy challenging themselves, because when you go from in person to online, it's a challenge. It's a totally different animal. And some people do really well and thrive. Some people don't do well at all. So and find the ones that really enjoy helping people online.
I love that. And who might be better and more articulate from the other side of a computer screen or a phone, right? Some people just don't love human interactions, but they're complete keyboard jockeys in the best way possible, right? Not said in a facetious way or anything. All right. My next question is a total job interview question. Tell me a time where you had to navigate a problem with your HR or managing people, and how you went about it in the healthiest way possible for mental health and all parties involved.
As far as like an issue with a client and a coach, or 2 coaches?
Between you and a coach, or you and a staff member, you and a team member, like they came to you with a problem, or a client came to you about a trainer and you had to handle it.
Yeah, I mean, we approach. Sorry, Leo, but we won't approach things with meeting all times. We're never going to text things or let things go under the radar, or brush things off. So anytime somebody has an issue with a client with a coach or a coach with a client, we always try to set meetings. Let's get the root cause here, because 95% of the time it's a miscommunication, or it's somebody being emotional and taking things wrong, right? So definitely setting a meeting with them and squashing it right then there, But that's also that's my type of personality. Like if we have an issue we're gonna talk about right now, we're not gonna wait and let it build or go under the rug there.
Yeah, I love that. Leo, go ahead. Either
Nailed
generic.
Nailed it on the head. I mean, one of the hardest things about having contractors, small business owners run or renting space is you do run up with that issue, right? Calgary, it's a small, big city, right? People know each other, and especially in the fitness industry where we're a niche kind of market, right? So people always will naturally kind of cross the paths or butt heads a little bit. So Jason nailed it on the head. It's setting a meeting, it's being an open book, it's communicating, it's and then getting people together and being like, let's resolve this situation now, or someone's gonna have to leave, right? And usually that's when you're upfront with people, they respect it, and changes are actually made.
Do you go ahead, Jace? I'm sorry.
Sorry. And I think it's very important for us as leaders of the company to be as consistent and even keel as possible, so that when we do call as meetings, they know we're taking this from a subjective point of view or perspective and not from an emotional standpoint, because when most, like I said, most people, they can't get their emotions, which causes these issues there, right? So if you come in unemotional and be able to get both sides of the story and find a common ground, or like Leo said, hey, look, either you fix this or get out of here. It normally fixes itself pretty quickly.
I love that. Do you guys, in addition to dealing with things as soon as they happen so as not to let them fester, do you have regularly scheduled team meetings, and what frequency are those meetings?
So with Gym B, what I found really essential is we do have a managers meeting every single week, right? And we go over topics, business stuff and future stuff, etc. But we also talk about the staff and such like that. And then I have a bi-weekly meeting with the personal trainers, and then we do a whole staff quarterly meeting as well, right? And you can set those timeframes up accordingly. But I do think it's being consistent. Going in with a goal and a plan and have talking points and go through whatever the subject matter of the day is, right? And I think that's really good for, again, communicating and just building that team community atmosphere and environment.
Yeah. And how frequently with your contractors in Gym A do you ever sit all of them down at the same time?
That's really tricky. We have 30 plus trainers.
Wow.
And so I've tried everything. I've tried, online, like a Zoom meeting once a month, and it's just really hard to get people together, honestly. Yeah. So what I just do a monthly email, and we go through all the any things like that, just people with updates, anything that's going on, good wins for the month and stuff like that. And then I have an open door policy where people can book a meeting with me and such like that. So
yeah. And Jace, how about you guys in your meetings?
So with the gym, you gotta say, like, our trainers have been with us for multiple years, so anytime they have an issue, we're very upfront with each other, and we see each other every single day for multiple hours, but we do a monthly meeting to go over either some house cleaning things, education, or maybe something we need to address as a group, maybe we have different perspectives that we need to weigh in and for the future of the company. But online, we meet weekly, simply because my other coach is out of Iowa. We don't see him too often. Our goal is to meet weekly to go over, client cases, and online coaching is a lot more complex than in person. In person, like I said, if you've been trained for multiple years, you pretty much fix things pretty quickly. Online, it's a lot about, intuition. It's a lot about emotions, so our psychology. So meet with them weekly tends to be the move there. But one thing I need to implement that I've been saying for years is I want to meet with each individual coach at least once a quarter, like just make it as intimidating as possible. Like just call like coffee with Jace, we meet, we sit down, and once a quarter we just sit down, kind of get where they're at, because we do have team meetings, and like Leo said, you have that door open at all times, but things can get don't get communicated at all times.
I love that. Have you noticed any competition or any jealousy going on between your trainers in your respective gyms, or is it for the most part very similar to the culture you guys have created, very level-headed, very even-keeled?
People are very respectful. I think, and that was our number one sort of, mission statement. Everyone's being respectful of everyone involved. Everyone's building their own business and their brand as well. And just, so that I find there's very little actual competition because everyone has their own styles, right? And it's like, it's not my style, and that's kudos to trainer A or trainer B. And this is my sort of style, but it's like everyone has their own, again, clients and such like that. And as you know, with trainers or training, certain clients will follow a certain style of trainer as well, right? And everyone's in that same boat. So I find it very respectful.
Yeah. Jace?
Yeah. And as far as my gym, they're contractors, but they work under the umbrella of Apex, so again, we handle everything. They just take care of the clients, which is nice. But I wouldn't say we've had issues with egos in the past, with jealousy and those toxic trainers, but normally kind of working themselves out of there. I'll do my best to really keep somebody on board. Like somebody's not doing well, I would try to nurture them to really keep them going along, to believe in them. They got to turn the corner. But if they don't, or they bring kind of some type of negative energy, then it's just time for them to go. So But my first training job was at a gym where I contracted, I paid money to be there, paid rent, and there was other coaches there. And, I believe to be a good trainer, there has to be some ego involved. Like you have to be confident, right? But you're not there to butt heads with people or tear other people down, based on their methods, their results or their client roster.
Now, out of curiosity, it's another hiring question. Do you both have PT managers or PT department managers if you have contractors?
For my contractors, no. But for our employees, we have a PT manager that oversees the other PTs, and that's there who gets the clients and then divvies it out after that. Yeah.
So Leo, was that a personal trainer that you noticed had like exemplary leadership qualities, or did you outsource that hire?
That was someone who shone through, and we knew from the very beginning in talking with the previous owners and stuff like that, with the duration that she had been there, and just her skills and leadership qualities and everything else. As soon as we met her and got to know her, it shone through as well. So she kind of filled her own boots, and we just kind of allowed her to.
I love that. And Jace, do you have one?
Me and my wife we're HR, we're the PT managers, we're everything else, But again, whenever you hire with a good process and you're able to hire people on board and kind of be, have a big brother relationship, everything kind of follows suit there, and those team training meetings once a month really helps with new movements, programming, and things that they might not be strong in to get them stronger.
I love that. All right. Final questions. What advice would you give to someone, either a brick and mortar gym owner or an online coach who's ready? Their roster is full. They're ready to grow. They have great leadership qualities. What advice would you give them for hiring, for building a team?
Okay. So I think if your roster's full and, I would start, obviously you're starting to look at someone who has similar qualities to you, who's motivated and wants to, again, grow their own clientele, right? So I would start looking, in-house and around. Now this will depend on, in my situation, maybe I'm looking at some of the existing contractors who are looking at growing, or someone like maybe it's an intern, right? We often reach out for interns and stuff like that. And maybe it's someone who's young and motivated and, similar qualities as you. At least you can see growing into the future, and again, taking them under your wing, start putting them into the sessions. You're guiding them, right, as with anything, and you're just kind of building it out from there. Then you're sort of offloading your clientele, sort of leveraging back your time, and it's a process, right? It's not overnight. It's not like click your fingers and it happens. This is months and months of work for sure,
and working out the kinks, I'm sure too, right? Yeah. Jace, what would be your piece of advice?
I would say get somebody on board as soon as possible. I'd go with because it's going to take at least a year for that person to really grasp what their job is, who they are as a trainer, and to get good at it, to be able to retain clients. So the faster you get somebody on board, if you hire when it's time to hire, you're way too late. And then you have to go through those growth processes and growing pains. Hire somebody as soon as possible. Get them on board as soon as possible. Do a contract agreement there to where, like, when you go out of town, they take your clients. So your clients are constantly getting trained. They're getting experience. They're growing with you, and of course, you can give them clients, feed them clients over time. But it's going to give you the opportunity to enjoy your job more, because those clients that you don't do well with. Maybe the clients that don't have your match personality, or maybe their fitness level is a little too low, you can give them to them, and still percent. They're still getting the great service, but you're not stretching yourself thin or causing more stress on you to train that person. So hire out as soon as get somebody on board as soon as possible,
and then be patient when they don't get it perfect right away.
Exactly. Well, and after a year, if they still don't have it, they're probably not going to get it, because I think the reality is not everybody's meant to be a coach. Coach is a very, very big responsibility and a giant role. Always we want to hire a great personality, because that's really the bottom of it. Of the big trait we need as trainers and coaches. But some people just aren't meant for the job. So that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of it.
All right, Jace, thank you. Leo, thank you so much. If you're listening, we appreciate you tuning into the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show. Thank you guys so much, gents. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jace.
Don't forget to like, us, rate us, subscribe to us, let us know what you think of us, and of course, follow us on Instagram at Trainer Revenue Multiplier. Guys, where can they find you online?
At Kings Fitness, at kings.fitness on Instagram, and at leo.kingsfitness on Instagram.
Jace.
You find me at Apex Training Gym LA and Jace_Lopez_.
Perfect. Guys, thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll catch you on next week's episode.